Hi, Lee from Yoga Spot here. Welcome everyone. Hope your day is going okay, or your evening if you're watching this in the evening. Beautiful day here. So yoga on the farm continues. So hopefully you'll be able to pick up on the bird noise and maybe a sheep or two in the background. If you're in an enclosed space or a small apartment, I hope this sense of space gives you some joy, and I hope everyone's going okay. So thanks very much for tuning in. Today's class will be 1 hour, a little more movement through the lower spine and the abdominal muscles perhaps than other weeks. So if you have any health conditions, as always, please don't do anything that causes you any pain or doesn't feel right to you at all. At any time, stop if you need to and rest, and perhaps just simply visualize the practice. And if it's a practice we're doing in time with the breath, do your visualization also in time with your own breath. At any time throughout this yoga class, if your breathing doesn't feel right or you don't feel right, definitely also please stop and rest as you need. So thanks very much. I'm going to pop Chloe into the shot and we'll continue on. Thank you. Thanks, Chloe. And for those who may not have done yoga before, you may need some supports either for your neck, buttocks or knees. So feel free to grab a block, a cushion, a rolled towel, whatever you might have at home that you think's going to do the job for you. You don't need a yoga mat. You can use a blanket or whatever is soft and comfortable underneath you that's going to be supportive for your body. So preparing once again to start in Shavasana, which is a relaxation pose. So lying on your back with the head and neck in a straight line with the spine. Have the feet about hip width apart and falling gently out to the sides. The arms are a little away from the body. You might like to imagine the size of an orange or a small grapefruit at the armpits. That's how far away your arms will be from the body. Have the palms turned up toward the ceiling or perhaps lightly turned in toward the body, but neither the palms or the fingers are in contact with anything at all. Have the fingers just lightly, loosely curled, like an autumn leaf. Wriggle the shoulders down towards the feet and soften through the shoulder blades, the back of the neck. If you're feeling any lower back pain or pain anywhere, add in any supports that you might find help your body. You can try either a small cushion, rolled towel underneath the hips, small of the back, or perhaps underneath the knees. Having something underneath the knees alters the angle of the heavy thigh bones and the pelvis, and that can help alleviate lower back pain as well. If you need anything beneath the head, neck or shoulders, add that in. And just check that you are comfortable and that you have actually returned to Shavasana. When you're happy with that, lightly close the eyes and the lips. Soften the muscles of the face, of the throat, and allow the body to sink into the floor. And become aware of the body against the floor. And take now 3 long, slow, deep breaths in and out. And with each outward breath, let go further and further into the floor. After the next outward breath, letting go of this practice of with the outward breath releasing into the floor. And bring the awareness now into the toes and the feet, and notice how they're actually feeling. Any heat, coldness, pain, itchy spots, whatever it may be, just noticing how the toes and feet are actually feeling. If there's any tension, tightness, or perhaps even pain. And take now an inward breath along with your attention into the toes, feet and ankles. And with the outward breath, consciously soften all the muscles of the toes, arches, top of the feet, ankles. And do this with a further 2 or 3 breaths. Breathing in the breath and attention moving through the toes, feet and ankles, with the breath out, softening, softening, releasing tension from the body with that outward breath. With the next breath in, take the breath and awareness to the shins, calves and knees. With the outward breath, softening through the shins, calves and knees. And use another breath or 2 to this area in the same way. Softening, letting go with that outward breath. And just with the next inward breath, moving to the thighs. There's no hurry, just in time with your own breath. The front of the thighs, the back of the thighs, hips, buttocks, pelvis. Noticing how those areas feel. Breathing in, exhaling, releasing tension, softening through the thighs, hips, buttocks and pelvis with that outward breath. 2 further breaths to this area of the body. Consciously releasing tension from that area with the outward breath. The next inward breath to the abdomen, navel, back of the trunk. Exhaling, softening, releasing. 2 further breaths to the abdomen, navel, and the back of the body at the corresponding area. With the next inward breath, moving upwards to the chest, front of the chest, back of the chest, the throat, the back of the neck. Softening, releasing tension, including the shoulders, shoulder blades, front and back of the chest. Softening into the floor. And with the next inward breath, move on to the fingers, palms, back of the hands, forearms, elbows, upper arms, and again to the shoulders. Softening, letting go with the outward breath. The breath in, travelling through the fingers, up through the arms to the shoulders. With the outward breath, releasing any tension, tightness, pain from these body areas and joints. And take now with the next inward breath to the face, the scalp, the back of the head, back of the neck. Breathing out, softening all the muscles of the face, eyes, forehead, temples, scalp, back of the head and back of the neck. 2 further breaths to this area, the head and neck. Softening, releasing tension with the outward breath. And after the next outward breath, let go of this practice and take a moment to scan through the body from the toes to the top of the head, noticing how the body is actually feeling now. If there's any remaining areas of tension, tightness, perhaps even pain anywhere. If that's the case, take the time now to use a further breath or 2 to return to any such spots. The outward breath, releasing that pain or tension. If there are no such areas, feel free to use a breath or 2 to whatever area you choose. After the next outward breath, let go of this practice. And bring the awareness now to the mind. Notice how you're actually feeling today. How your concerns, anxieties, stresses might be going today. Or if you are already in a place of happiness and joy. Whatever the case may be, just acknowledge your thoughts, feelings, emotions, and take an inward breath, a gentle breath to the mind, and imagine all the thoughts of the day, concerns, earlier conversations being wrapped up within that breath or bubble and exhaled gently out with the breath. Do this twice more to the mind. Enveloping the thoughts of the day and releasing them out with the gentle breath. Giving yourself permission to let go of the concerns of the day. After the next outward breath, let go of this practice. And hopefully now, body and mind relatively free of tension, ready for the practice of yoga. And know, as always, that you can use those techniques at any time, day or night, to release tension and anxieties from the body and mind. So preparing now for the gentle warm-ups. If there's any supports beneath the lower body, you might like to take those out now. If you need the ones beneath the head or neck in for whatever reason, feel free to leave those in. The ones from the small of the back or beneath the knees, removing those now. And then bring the soles of the feet to the floor, the palms of the hands to the floor, and bring the arms close into the body. The same gentle warm-up to gently awaken or invigorate, if you like, but in a gentle manner, the muscles and nerves and blood supply to the lower back. Begin by imagining a line drawn on the back of the body, going from the tailbone to a point on the spine at the back of the waist. Breathing in, move gently in any way that's comfortable for you up that imaginary line, pausing at that point on the spine at the back of the waist. Breathing out, moving back down to the tailbone, continuing in time with your own breath. If you're having trouble identifying how far up the spine to travel, that point on the spine at the back of the waist is directly beneath the navel. So imagine a line running from the navel through the body to the spine. That's the point you're moving up to, holding, and when you're ready to breathe out, you move back down to the tailbone. It's similar to a pelvic tilt, but slightly different. It's more subtle, and it's just moving up and down that imaginary line. A very gentle, safe way to awaken and stretch the muscles of the lower back, hips and pelvis. If you suffer with back pain, this is an excellent movement to do that is so gentle and can't cause any further damage or distress to the spine. With the next outward breath, when you come to the tailbone, let go of this movement. Feel into the back for a moment or two. Always in yoga, there's a pause after movements, and just a pause so that you can feel into the area that's been moved and notice the subtle changes to the body. Something that often in our busy lives, or our normally busy lives, we often don't have time to notice. So this time is particularly good to allow you to tune back into your body. Bring now the feet and knees together and bring both thighs and knees toward the chest. Clasp the hands around the knees or the shins and begin making small circular movements with the knees in unison. Begin now to time this movement with the breath. Breathe in when the legs and knees are away from the body. Breathe out as they come toward the chest. So it's quite slow. It's in time with your own breath. With the eyes staying lightly closed, take your awareness into the back of the body and feel what this movement of the legs, arms and breath do to the back of the body. And after the next outward breath, when the knees or thighs are close to the body, pause and reverse the direction. Upon reversal, you'll still be breathing in when the legs are away from the body, out as the knees and thighs come back down toward the body. After the next outward breath, shift your awareness to the lower abdominal or pelvic organs and notice the effects of this leg, thigh and chest movement, or the movement of the lungs, have on those lower organs. Thighs and knees pressing against them, contracting some of those organs, and as the lungs fill, they move down. So the diaphragm and the lungs push down on the abdominal organs, squeezing them from above. So this makes this good for constipation, wind pain, period pain, lower pelvic pain, because it can help to alleviate some of those symptoms. After the next outward breath, letting go of this movement, releasing the legs carefully, perhaps one leg at a time if there's any back issues, back to be outstretched on the floor, returning to Shavasana, the starting pose of the class, relaxation pose, feet hip width apart, falling gently out to the sides, arms a little away, palms uppermost, eyes closed, feeling through the body after those very subtle warm-ups. So preparing now for the next asana or movement of cycling. It'll be both legs today, but moving independently of each other, exactly as if you would be riding a bike. To assist in this movement, you might like to have the hands beneath the buttocks or small of the back. The palms can be down or up, the hands can be flat, or you might like to have the hands in clenched fists underneath the hips, pelvis or lower back, whatever's most comfortable for you. Then in any way that's comfortable for your body, bring both legs to be outstretched up off the floor with the feet pointing toward the ceiling. You might raise them one leg at a time or with the knees bent or just coming straight up off the floor depending on the strength of your abdominal muscles. Adjust now your hand position so that you are actually comfortable and begin cycling as though you were riding a bike. But time now the breath to the right leg. Breathe in when the right leg is fully outstretched, reaching up to the ceiling. Breathe out as the right knee and thigh come toward the chest. So time the breath to the right leg, breathing in when the right leg is outstretched, breathing out when the right knee is bent and the right thigh is close to the chest. When you've got that timing right and you feel comfortable, close the eyes lightly and feel into the knees, hips, legs, abdominal muscles, lower back. So it's quite slow. It's in time with your own breath, feeling into the legs. After the next outward breath, when the right thigh and knee are close to the body, pausing and reversing the direction. So still breathe in when the right leg is fully outstretched. Breathe out when the right knee and thigh come toward the chest. Awareness with the legs, knees, hips, abdominals, lower back. And after the next outward breath, let go of the movement and return the legs, perhaps one leg at a time, perhaps with the knees bent if that's more comfortable for you, to be outstretched on the floor, returning to Shavasana, releasing the hands and the arms a little away from the body, palms uppermost, feet falling gently out to the sides, about hip width apart. Take a softening or releasing breath to the abdomen and navel area if you need to release any tension that might be being held there. Soften through the leg muscles, hips and knees. And then feel into the knees and hips. Notice any sensations within the joints, warmth, heat, tingling, pain, hopefully no pain. And notice any differences between the left and the right. And preparing now for the preliminary plough pose, which is not suitable for anyone with a hernia, sciatica, or a slipped disc. So if there anything you suffer with, please just visualize this practice. So once again, in any way that's comfortable for you, bring both legs so that they're pointing up toward the ceiling. And bring now the hands into fists beneath the hips, buttocks or small of the back, whatever's most comfortable for you. And if it's suitable or comfortable for your body shape, bring the feet towards the face. The legs are together and the knees are as straight as possible, and you're aiming for a 45-degree angle. So the feet come toward the face. If you're watching actually the video, Chloe has a back issue and hamstring issue which won't allow this to occur, but you're aiming for a 45-degree angle at the hips. So perhaps, Chloe, if you bend your knees so that your feet go further over. So that is the direction they would be aiming in. Beautiful. So with the legs on whichever angle is comfortable for you, with the feet moving or pointing toward the face, breathing in, separate the feet and knees apart as far as is comfortable for your hips, legs, lower back and abdominal muscles. Breathe out, bring the feet back together. Breathe in, feet apart. Breathe out, coming back together. Aim that the knees are straight. Have the toes pointing toward the body. That gives you a further stretch through the hamstring. If it's suitable for you, continue on in time with your own breath. Any hip, lower back or abdominal strain issues, please just visualize this, or don't move your feet so far apart from each other. And the next time the feet come back together, letting go of the movement and releasing the legs to the floor to be outstretched once more in Shavasana relaxation pose. Any lower back or abdominal strength issues, bring the legs to the floor one leg at a time, perhaps with the knees bent. Release the hands and the arms, palms uppermost, a little away from the body. Take a releasing or softening breath, particularly to the abdominal, hip, lower back area. And once you've released tension from the body, allow the body to sink once more into the floor and feel into the areas affected by that preliminary plough pose for you today. And with the eyes open, rolling carefully now onto the front of the body with the forehead to the floor and the arms by the sides. So to protect the lower back in the next asana or movement of the Sphinx pose, bring the feet together so that some part is touching, either the big toes touching or the heels or both. And bring the arms to the floor in an L-shape fashion through the elbows, so the forearms are resting on the floor throughout. The tips of the fingers are level with the crown of the head. So if you had a ruler or a straight line running across the top of the body, the fingertips and the crown of the head are in a straight line. The upper arms are in a straight line with the shoulders pretty much. The elbows form an L shape. And the palms of the hands might even need to be off the sides of the mat for this to occur, just depending on your body shape. So with the eyes lightly closed, take the awareness into the back of the body or the back of the trunk. Soften through the small of the back and just once again make sure that you've got some part of the feet touching. And then with the next breath in, slowly raise the forehead, then nose, then chin, front of the neck and chest up off the floor, coming up as high as is comfortable, pressing into the forearms. So from the elbow to the fingertips, firmly fixed on the floor. So you're like the Sphinx of Egypt. Feel into the back of the body. When you're ready to breathe out, breathing out, lowering the head, neck, upper chest and shoulders back to the floor, equally as slowly as what you went up. Chin, then nose, then forehead to the floor. If you need a recovery breath or to alter your position in any way, do so. And then with the next inward breath, breathing in, forehead, nose, chin, upper body, holding for what's suitable for your body and breath, exhaling down with full control. Continuing in time with your own breath, checking that some part of the feet are together to protect the lower back from hyperflexing coming up. Holding, weight going into the forearms and palms. And if you've been practicing yoga for some time, the next time you come up, switch your awareness to the front of the body, the front of the face, the throat, the chest, the shoulders. If you're new to yoga, just stay with timing the movement to the breath and feeling into the back of the body. So this is good for upper arm strength, good for the posture and reversing rounded shoulders, good for that hard to get at upper back and beneath the shoulder blades, and excellent for the back strength and flexibility. And after the next outward breath, when the head returns to the floor, let go of the movement, release the arms to the sides, turn the head to whichever side is comfortable for you and release the feet. Take a long, slow, deep releasing breath, softening the muscles of the back, the neck, the shoulders, releasing into the floor, and then noticing where you feel the effects of that practice and whether that would be useful for you to practice more often at home. So that Sphinx pose is one of the back bends. Back bends are said to open you up to the world. The face is facing forward, the chest is open, the heart is open. So they're good for invigorating the body. So if you've had a slow day and you want to invigorate yourself in some way, back bends are always good for that. And good for opening the mind. So again, if you're struggling with some problem, it may just alter your mindset, doing some back bends. Great to do in the morning. They're more of an awakening process. So if there's no serious lower back issues, we'll move to a stronger pose if the cobra. If your back feels like it's had enough with the Sphinx, feel free to just visualize this practice. And if you do move to the cobra and find it too strong, please feel free to go back to the Sphinx at any stage. The cobra pose is also not suitable for anyone with a peptic ulcer, hernia, uncontrolled high thyroid levels, or intestinal TB. So this time, if you're switching to the cobra, bring some part of the feet together, forehead to the floor, bring the palms of the hands to just under the shoulders. If you're staying with the Sphinx, move those palms back up level with the head and take that elbow to the elbow shape. Otherwise, palms are underneath the shoulders. Have the awareness with the back of the body once more, the eyes lightly closed, and breathing in, slowly raise with full control, forehead, then nose, chin, neck, upper body. So the whole upper body coming up off the floor, pushing into the hands. Pelvis and hips stay on the floor. The navel may be off, but hips and pelvis on the floor. When you're ready to breathe out, lowering back down in the reverse. Abdomen, chest, chin, nose, forehead. If you need a recovery breath, take one. If you need to adjust your position or revert to the Sphinx, please do so. Otherwise, inhaling up, holding for what's suitable for your body and your breath, exhaling down when you're ready. 2 to 3 times further in this way if this is suitable for your body today. Feeling into the back of the body, the curves of the spine, and if you've been practicing yoga for some time, feel also into the front of the body, abdomen, chest, heart space, throat, face. Any lower back pain, reverting at any time to the Sphinx, or letting go altogether and just visualizing the practice in time with your breath. And releasing back the arms to the sides, the head to whichever side is comfortable for you, and releasing or softening through the feet. If you're in the middle of a round, just completing that round and then moving or releasing into the floor. Use the breath to soften the abdominal, chest, shoulder or back muscles if you need to, and then feeling the effects of the cobra or the Sphinx, or just how you feel after visualizing the practice if that's one that you've visualized. And allowing the eyes to open, moving carefully now onto all fours for the cat pose. So coming onto the knees, have the knees directly beneath the hips and about hip width apart, or perhaps a little wider. If they're too close together, you won't get the fluid movement through the spine. It'll actually cause you to be a little jammed up. Check that the wrists are directly beneath the shoulders. If they're coming forward too far or even slightly in front of the shoulders, there'll be too much pressure go through the wrists and it can cause you some wrist damage. Any wrist issues, have the hands in clenched fists. It takes some pressure off the wrists. Have the head and neck in a straight line with the spine. When you're ready, breathe in and raise the head and tailbone toward the ceiling. Let the spine curve naturally down. Elbows are straight or still, arms are straight, thighs are still and straight. Breathing out, Lower the head and neck as far as is suitable for you, arching every single vertebra up toward the ceiling. Tuck the buttocks in and under, draw the navel up to the spine. Breathing in, head and tailbone reaching for the ceiling. When you're ready to breathe out, breathing out, lowering head and neck, arching up, buttocks tucked in and under, navel drawn up to the spine. Feel into the back of the body. Continue on in time with your own breath. If there's any uncontrolled high blood pressure, heart conditions, vertigo, please don't lower the head and neck any lower than the level of your own heart. So your head and neck might be stopping in that neutral position where you started. Any neck issues, only lower the head and neck as far as is comfortable. Should be absolutely no pain with this style of yoga in any of the movements. If you've been practicing yoga for some time, switch also your awareness today to the front of the face, the throat, the chest, the abdominal muscles. If you're new to yoga, stay with the awareness in the back and the timing the movement to the breath, aiming that the legs are still, elbows and arms are still. All movement is driven by the spine and the breath. And after the next outward breath, let go of the practice of the cat. If it's suitable for your knees and hips, come to a kneeling position. If that's unsuitable for your legs, hips or back, come to any seated position that's comfortable for you. When you are comfortable and supported, closing the eyes and feeling the effects of the cat practice. If you're kneeling, you might like to put in a cushion or a towel between the heels and the buttocks. It just takes the pressure off the ankles. If you're seated, you might like a cushion or rolled blanket or bolster or block beneath the sitting bones or buttocks to take the pressure off or the drag through the abdominal muscles and to straighten you up through the spine. Sitting comfortably, feeling the effects of the cat pose. And from whatever seated position you've been in, moving now to prepare for the half camel pose, which is in a kneeling position, but you'll be coming up, so raise the buttocks up off the floor. You might like to remove any cushion if you've had a cushion between the heels and the buttocks, and have the feet and knees about hip width apart. If this is uncomfortable for your knees or unsuitable at all for your knees, this is one you may have to sit through and visualize the practice. So the knees are hip width apart and you're pushing slightly forward through the pelvis so that your hips and pelvis stay square on to the front of the room throughout. The face is looking straight ahead, chin parallel with the floor. Breathe in, have the arms outstretched now at shoulder height. Breathing out, bend. We'll start with the left side so people can see at home. Bend the left elbow and bring the hand to the back of the left hip or buttocks, wherever's most comfortable for you. So the palm of the hand is resting on the hip or the lower buttock. Pushing forward through the hips and pelvis, feeling into the back of the legs. The eyes are closed, feeling into that movement. Breathe in now, come to the upright through the upper body and have both arms once again extended out to the sides at shoulder height. This time, if it's suitable for your lower back, take the left hand now to reach back for the left heel. Keeping the hips and pelvis forward. Bring the right arm forward at shoulder height, gazing beyond the fingers of that right hand. Take the right hand a little higher up so it's at about a 45-degree angle and gazing beyond the fingers of the right hand. Any neck issues, you might like to lower that right hand so that your head and neck aren't being tilted so far back. Feel through the curves of the back of the body. Breathing naturally. With the next inward breath, come to the upright for the upper body. Have the arms extended, outstretched sideways at shoulder height. And if it's suitable for your lower back, with the outward breath, take now your left hand to the right heel. The right arm is extended and forward. If this is too much of a stretch for your back, take the left hand to the left heel or the left hand to the hip. So be guided by what's suitable for your back. Breathing naturally, feeling through the curves of your back, gazing beyond the fingers of that right hand. With the next inward breath, come to the upright through the upper body, arms outstretched, and this time with the outward breath, lower the palms back to the sides of the thighs. Adjust your knees or leg position if you feel you need to, and if you feel that you wish to stop, feel free to be seated in any position and visualise the practice now to the opposite side of the body. So for the first round it's modified and the hand will just go to the hips or the buttocks. So when you're ready, with the chin parallel to the floor, breathe in, arms outstretched. This time the right hand to the right hip or lower back. Little push forward through the pelvis and hips, gazing beyond the fingers of the left hand, which have now come around to be at the front of the body, extended straight up from the shoulders. Beautiful, feeling into the back of the body. Inhaling, arms outstretched to the sides, stretch further between the fingertips. When you're ready, exhale, take the right hand to the right heel. Left arm comes forward in front of the left shoulder, gazing beyond the fingers of the left hand, feeling through the curves in the back, the half camel pose. Breathing naturally. Next inward breath, come to the upright, arms are outstretched, stretch further between the fingertips. Breathing out, if it's suitable on this side of your body, with the outward breath, take the right hand to the left heel. If that's too much of a stretch for you, take the right hand to the right heel, or if the lower back's becoming fatigued or sore, take the right hand to the right buttock or hip. Left arm is outstretched in front of the left shoulder, gazing beyond the fingers of the left hand. Breathing naturally. Pushing through the hips and pelvis, keeping them square and front on. Excellent. Next breath in, arms outstretched in the sideways position. Breathing out, release the palms and arms to the sides and come back down to a kneeling position. Have something between the heels and the buttocks if you feel you need. Takes pressure off the ankles, and if kneeling's unsuitable for you, come to any seated position that is satisfactory or suitable for your body today. When you are comfortably seated and supported, then close the eyes lightly. Use the breath to soften the muscles of the lower back, hips, pelvis, abdomen, legs if you need to, and then feel into the areas that have been affected by the half camel for you today, and notice if there's any differences between the left and the right sides for you. If you are still kneeling, move now so that the legs are outstretched in front of you, and add some level of support or bolster or block beneath the sitting bones. This tilts the pelvis forward, makes you a little more upright through the spine, and will give you some support for the next movement of the full butterfly. So when you have something beneath the sitting bones, they're the large bones, there's one in each buttock, comes down from the back of the pelvis, is in the middle of the buttock, and it's actually what you should be aiming to sit on when you are seated on the floor. So being as upright through the spine as you can be, bring now the soles of the feet together. So bring the knees together and the heels toward the body. Have the soles of the feet together and hold the toes together with both hands, and then check that you're as upright as possible through the spine, not slumping or sagging through the abdominal muscles. Excellent. When you are as upright as possible and the feet held together, gently begin to rock or bounce the knees up and down. It's quite gentle, no ballistic movement. Feel into the hips, thighs, inner thighs, any hip conditions or severe lower backs. If this is causing you any pain, please feel free to stop immediately and visualize the practice. So this is a full butterfly. It's excellent for improving hip flexibility and opening. Good for the lower back, posture, abdominals. And if you're aiming to be able to sit longer for meditation practices, a very useful technique to use. Feeling into those hips and leg muscles. And letting go now of the movement and carefully, slowly releasing the legs. Stretch the legs back outstretched in front of you. Give the knees, hips or thighs a little wriggle, shake or release if you need to. And then perhaps resting back on the hands, sitting comfortably with the eyes closed, just feeling the effects of the full butterfly. And preparing now for the mill turning pose, have the eyes open and removing the supports from the sitting bones. Bring the feet as wide apart as is possible for you. Bring the arms outstretched at shoulder height in front of the body and clasp the hands together and fix the eyes on the clasped hands, and that will help you keep the arms up throughout this practice. Lean back until you find your point of balance. So tip back a little. Beautiful. Breathe in, breathe out, move forward over the right knee and toe. Coming in a circular movement now over the left leg, rotating or rocking back through the hips. Should be absolutely no lower back or abdominal pain. All movement driven by the hips. Have the gaze on the hands so you keep those arms upright. If there's any shoulder or neck issues, obviously adjust that if you need to. Aim to keep the whole of the back of the legs in contact with the floor, not lifting up at the knees. If you've got your feet too far apart or too close together, alter the leg position. So if it's feeling too hard or your knees are coming up, move the feet closer together. If it doesn't feel hard enough, move the feet further apart from each other. Coming forward and back as far as is comfortable for your body. Should be no pain. Timing this movement now to the breath. So breathe in on the back movement, breathe out as you come forward. So when the body and arms are forward over the legs, breathing out. Breathing in when the body is rocking back and the lungs have the most room to expand. Breathe in when you're back, breathe out coming forward over the legs. After the next outward breath, pausing over that right leg and then reversing. Breathing in, coming back, out, going forward. Gazing at the hands, aiming to keep them at the level of the shoulders. Any fatigue, neck or shoulder issues, adjust this. And if the body's fatiguing, feel free to bring the feet closer together. If it's not hard enough for you, make the circular movement through the hips stronger or bring the feet further apart in time with the breath. Focused on the trunk area of the body, the midriff area. It's great for the waistline. And this is an energy unblocking pose. Good for both the energy of the mind and the body. And after the next outward breath, letting go of the movement. Releasing the legs, bringing them back closer together. Give the knees, hips a little flex if you need to. And when you're ready, resting back on the hands with the eyes closed, feeling the effects of the mill churning pose for you today. And notice whether that's something that you could build into your daily routine to unblock your energy at various points in the day. That mid-afternoon slump, perhaps. Hopefully you're not feeling in a slump all day, every day. Hopefully everyone's going all right at this time. So allowing now the eyes to open and coming to a standing position. So for the right angle pose today, have the feet reasonably close together. Tuck the buttocks in and under, roll the shoulders down and back a little. Have the chin level with the floor and tuck the chin in toward the back of the neck. This just protects and elongates the whole spine. Breathing in, raise both arms up overhead and have the wrists bent at a 90-degree angle so the palms of the hands are actually level with the floor. Breathing out, forward bend from the hips, coming down to a 90-degree angle. So the face and arms form a straight line with the spine. Knees are straight if possible, wrists are still bent at that 90-degree angle. Breathing in, coming up, wrists still bent at the 90-degree angle. Recovery breath if you need it, otherwise simply when you're ready to breathe out, breathing out, moving back down into that 90-degree angle or right angle pose. Aim that the arms are up and level with the spine, head and neck. Inhaling up, exhaling down when you're ready. Twice more in time with your own breath. So this is great for increasing back strength, shoulder strength, improving posture, releasing tension if you're sitting all day. Great before bed. Forward bends more calming, slowing for the mind. Help to shut out the world, shut out tensions. Excellent before bed. The next time you come to the upright, letting go of this practice with the outward breath, release the arms to the sides of the body. Standing comfortably with the eyes closed, release the knees, shoulders, hips, whatever you may need. And then with those eyes lightly closed, feel the effects of the right angle pose. With the eyes open, bring now the feet to about hip width apart and turn the toes lightly in as though you're slightly pigeon-toed. This protects the knees. Tuck the buttocks in and under, chin parallel with the floor and tucked in toward the back of the neck. Breathing in, arms outstretched to the sides at shoulder height. Turn the palms up to the ceiling. Breathing out, bend the elbows and bring the fingertips onto the shoulders. Breathe in, breathing out. Turn and twist the whole upper body through the middle of the trunk to look beyond the right elbow and shoulder. When you're ready, breathe into the center, breathing out to the opposite side. This is one round. 3 further rounds in this way, in time with your own breath. Breathing out while you're twisting, breathing in as you move to the center, feeling through the waistline area, hips, shoulders, head and neck. Excellent for releasing tension from the spine and toning up the waistline. If you're doing a lot of cooking while you're at home, this might be beneficial. If you're doing a lot of sitting, definitely beneficial. And whenever you complete the round that you're in, so you've done an equal number to both sides, when you then come to the neutral or central position with the outward breath, releasing the arms to the sides, bring the legs back into a natural standing position, flex through the knees or shoulders, head or neck, wherever you feel you might need. And then just when you're ready and comfortable, closing the eyes lightly and feeling the effects of that spine and back pose or rotation. So this completes the movement part of today's class. So allowing the eyes to open, the breathing and relaxation will both be done from lying. So moving back to Shavasana, the relaxation pose, feel free to add any supports you need beneath the head and neck, small of the back, hips or buttocks, or beneath the knees. And your body temperature will cool down So feel free, if you don't add it already, have something beside you so that if you do get cool, you can add socks, a jumper or another layer, perhaps a blanket or a towel, a scarf, whatever you've got nearby. And just checking that you are comfortable in the position you've chosen, that you've got the supports you need, and that nothing underneath you, either a crinkled mat or blanket, how the cushions are sitting, or nothing above you, again, that the blanket isn't restricting your feet so that they can be hip width apart and falling gently out to the sides, that your hands are warm enough, not too enveloped if you're using a blanket, that your head and neck are supported and are in a straight line with the spine. When you're happy with all of those things, then wriggle the shoulders down towards the feet and soften through the shoulder blades, the back of the neck, the small of the back. Close the lips and eyes lightly. Soften the muscles of the face. And take now 3 long, slow, deep breaths in and out. And with each outward breath, consciously release the body into the floor. After the next outward breath, letting go of this practice, and bring the awareness to the breath. Begin to notice the rise of the chest with the breath in, fall of the chest with the breath out, chest rising, chest falling. Not altering the breath in any way or causing it any distress, just noticing what the breath is doing, and the actual rise and fall of the chest with each breath. And after the next outward breath, shift your awareness to the navel and abdominal area. If it helps you, you might like to put your left hand, the palm of the hand, on the navel so that you can actually feel and be fully aware of the movement of the breath down here. So breathing in, notice the rise of the navel and abdomen with the breath in. With the breath out, the abdomen and navel falling toward the spine or the floor. You might like to just gently increase the length or depth of the breath in so that you're fully aware of this sensation. Breathing in, abdomen rising. Breathing out, abdomen falling. Breathing in, abdomen rising. Breathing out, abdomen falling. Tune in fully to this movement and begin stating to yourself with each breath in, stating mentally, abdomen rising. With the breath out, state mentally to yourself, abdomen falling. Abdomen rising, abdomen falling. Continue this running commentary in your head with each and every breath. If the mind wanders, bring it back to being fully focused on the breath at the abdomen and navel. Abdomen rising, abdomen falling. Abdomen rising, abdomen falling. And after the next outward breath, let go of the running commentary of the breath at the abdomen. Let go of breathing in that slightly deeper, longer fashion and allow the breath to return to its natural, easy state. This completes the breathing for today's class, abdominal breathing. But know that you can do that at any time. It slows and deepens the breath, which is relaxing and increases your oxygen levels automatically. It also helps calm and still the mind. So again, can be done at any time during the day that you feel you need to add a little peace to your day. You could just sit somewhere quietly and perform that technique. Or again, if you're having trouble sleeping, you could do that in bed. Just still the body, release tension from the body, and then to slowly begin to focus on that movement at the abdomen and navel and have that running commentary going. And that may be enough to assist you to get back to sleep or off to sleep in the first place. So hopefully that's a technique you'll find useful. So preparing now for the relaxation and final part of the class, it'll be a shortened form of a yoga nidra. If you need to adjust any of your supports or alter your body position or stop for a moment and then recommence, feel free to do so. If you need to add supports or add layers of clothing or blankets, or alternatively, if you're somewhere hot, adjusting them as you need to. And when you have that and you're organised, comfortable, there's nothing beneath the body or on top of the body that's going to impede your practice. Just check that you've put yourself back into Shavasana, the relaxation pose, feet hip-width apart, falling gently out to the sides, arms a little away, palms uppermost, wriggle the shoulders down toward the feet and soften through the shoulder blades, back of the neck, small of the back. Eyes and lips are lightly closed. Soften all the muscles of the face. Take a long, slow, deep breath in and out. With the outward breath, allow the body to melt into the floor. Making any final adjustments. Aiming to remain still throughout this practice, knowing that if the body moves, the mind immediately also moves. And this practice is designed to still and calm and quiet the mind. So making any final adjustments. Wriggling any muscles of the face that you feel you might need to. And then aiming to remain still throughout. Take 2 long, slow, deep breaths in and out now. And with the outward breath, fully releasing into the floor. After the next outward breath, letting go of this practice if you've not already. And bring the awareness fully into the body. Feel into the body lying on the floor. Notice how it actually does feel at the heels, back of the legs, buttocks, shoulder blades, shoulders, back of the head and neck. Observe the weight of the clothing or blankets on the body. Notice how the skin feels where it's exposed to the air. Observe the rise and the fall of the chest with each breath. Letting go of the body now, become aware of the sounds outside the room you're in, searching the sounds outside. Tune in now to the sounds within the room that you're in. Not naming the sound, just observe that a particular sound exists and move on to find another sound and another, as many sounds as possible. Begin to notice now the sound of the breath at the nostrils. The sound of the heartbeat. And letting go of the sounds now. Now is the time in the practice for a short body rotation. No actual physical movement, just moving the awareness, allowing it to rest on each body part as it's named, and then moving on to the next named body part. Bringing the awareness now to the right hand thumb, index finger, middle finger, ring finger, little finger, palm of the hand, back of the hand, right wrist, forearm, elbow, upper arm, shoulder, armpit, side of the chest and waist, right hip, thigh, knee, shin, calf muscle, ankle, sole of the foot, top of the foot, right big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe. Moving now to the left side of the body, the left hand thumb, index finger, middle finger, ring finger, little finger, palm of the hand, back of the hand, left wrist, forearm, elbow, upper arm, shoulder, armpit, side of the chest and waist, left hip, thigh, knee, shin, calf muscle, ankle, sole of the foot, top of the foot, left big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe. Moving now up the back of the body, right heel, left heel, back of the right leg, back of the left, right buttock, left buttock, small of the back, upper back, right shoulder blade, left shoulder blade, back of the neck, back of the head, the entire spine to the crown of the head, moving down now the front of the body, the forehead, right temple, left temple, right ear, left ear, right eyebrow, eyebrow centre, left eyebrow, right eye, left eye, right cheek, left cheek, both nostrils together, both lips together, the chin and entire jaw, right collarbone, left collarbone, front of the chest, abdomen, navel and entire pelvic region. the whole body, the whole body, the whole body all together. Letting go of the body rotation now and preparing to end the practice. Become aware once again of the weight of the body on the floor, the dimensions that your body takes up on the floor. Feel into the heels, back of the legs, buttocks, shoulders, back of the head and neck. Observe once more the weight and texture of the clothing or blankets on the body. Notice how the skin feels where it's exposed to the air. Become aware of the rise and the fall of the chest with each breath. And you might like to deepen that breath now, and along with the deepening breath, deepen the awareness to include the awareness of the room you're lying in, the time of the day that you're performing this practice, whether it's morning, afternoon or evening. Begin to notice once more the sounds around you, the sounds outside the room you're in, and become fully aware that you have been practicing a shortened form of Yoga Nidra relaxation technique, and that the practice is now complete. You might like to gently begin to reawaken the body by moving the fingers and toes, the hands and the feet, perhaps turning the head and neck gently from side to side. If you feel you need a full body stretch, perhaps time this with a long, slow, deep breath in. Extend the arms overhead, push the heels away from you and the toes toward you. If you feel you need more to release the muscles of the lower back, you might like to bring both knees toward the chest, clasp the hands around the shins or the knees and make small circular movements with the knees, reawakening, re-energizing the lower back. Just whatever movements you feel necessary to gently reawaken the body while keeping the eyes slightly closed. And when you're ready, rolling onto the right side, again with the eyes remaining closed, and taking a moment or two to reflect on how you're feeling now as opposed to at the start of the class. Perhaps what you might like to replay or reperform at some other time if it's particularly useful for you. And when you're ready, coming to a seated position, but if you are feeling quite internalized still, feel free to keep the eyes closed, and you practice palming, where you rub the palms of the hands together until they're quite hot. Cup the hands in a V shape, hold them over the eyes, and then open the eyes into the warmth and depth of that warm, dark space, gazing into the distance and the warmth. You might find you need to do this 2 or 3 times if you're particularly internalized, or you may feel it's not necessary at all. When you're ready, allowing the eyes to open, coming back into the space you're in, and this completes today's class. So thank you very much. I hope there's been something beneficial in there for you, and as always, I hope that you're going well and getting through this time all right, and that your family and loved ones are well, and hopefully all stay that way. Feel free to share the link for these videos with anyone at all who you think may benefit by them. Feel free to save them and use it again whenever you feel the need. And if you've got anyone in enclosed spaces who might benefit from seeing the space of a farm, feel free again to share them. So thank you very much, and I hope you're all going well, and thank you, Chloe, for being the participant. Thank you. Have a great day or evening, and I hope you all sleep well. Thanks for now.